Welcome to this ChessGuin opening lesson. In this video, we are going to look at a practical way to play against the Berlin defense in the Ruy Lopez. The goal is to avoid the most drawish Berlin wall structures, keep practical chances on the board, and understand the main ideas behind White's setup. Knight f6 is the main sideline to a6. The Berlin defense is known for being solid and is used at the top level of chess as a reliable drawing weapon. The mainline continuation leads to an equal endgame known as the Berlin Wall, where it is difficult for White to achieve better than a draw. The mainline castling allows Black to take the e4 pawn. This is a trade because White can recover the material by applying pressure on the e-file. Rook e1 is considered very drawish, and d4 is actually the main line. Although, as this is the Berlin, d4 is pretty drawish too, and usually leads to the Berlin Wall endgame. I tried to look for a trickier variation, but Black can reach a symmetrical position with correct play, where there's still a chance to play for a win as White. Threatens to take White's bishop. And this is the idea: the a4 move can surprise Black, since in most games the knight usually captures on e5. And Black is not in time to capture the bishop, because Black's king is still in the center. The bishop still can't be captured, because if he did, Black would have to bring the knight on c6 back to a wrong square. Black can attack the bishop with pawn, and now we take the e5, and Black can't take the bishop due to the knight c6 threat. Now the bishop is hanging. This is similar to the fifth rook e1 mainline, but the extra a4, a6 moves could be useful for White in the case of a queenside attack. Black's main move is to bring the bishop out first. Knight c3 is a bit of an unusual move, but it's part of the opening plan. We're targeting the d5 square and also guarding the e4 square in case Black pushes his pawn. Black can simplify the position again with a6. e4 would lead to a symmetrical structure, but Deitch found another solution against Operin on the World Cup in 2021. White couldn't even play d4 because of bishop f3. Oparin won this game with the black pieces, but I think White was fine here. The White position may seem passive, but at least it's more flexible than in a symmetrical position. The main continuation is castle instead of a6. We still won't take the e5 now, but we'll try to sacrifice another pawn. Black can choose the solid continuation, but if he take the pawn, he might have a tough time. Let's first see what happens in the case of e-pawn takes d4. The knight jumps to the d5, and we threaten to win e7 after bishop takes c6. Bishop f6 is already a mistake, but there are more games for it than the correct rook e8. A very important move. Do you see what White is threatening? Feel free to pause the video to think. After knight f6, queen f6, the bishop g5 traps the queen. If Black wants to protect the bishop, and at the same time get to the d6 move, we will have a nice tactic in this example. The only move is g6 to avoid the mate. And we win a piece in the end with knight f6. Better move is to protect the e7 bishop. This is the important move here too. It prepares a trap again. The seemingly logical bishop f8 is already a blunder. We have the typical Greek gift. And White is winning. b6 is the only move that keeps the position equal. I think we have fantastic compensation for the pawns, and generally, Black doesn't want to get this kind of position with the Berlin defense. Black also can take with the knight, but it doesn't change so much. Knight d5 again. It's pretty hard again for Black to figure out the only good continuation. Bishop to f6 and rook to e8 aren't good moves, so this square remained for the bishop. Here comes the usual bishop d3. The good plan for Black is b6 again, but first, what if he attacks the knight with c6? Knight c7 is the winning move. If the queen takes the knight, we win the piece back with queen h5, threading the h7 and h4 too. Black has some problems. For example, queen f6. And we win a piece on d6. After b6, we'll win a pawn back and have a nice compensation. f5 is the only move. The black pieces aren't doing too well, and there are still a few threats left. Rook e8 instead of bishop h4 meets with queen g4. We're weakening the king's position. We couldn't take on d4 because of knight f5. We force f6 too because black can't capture the queen due to the back rank mate. The active play, once again, provides more than enough compensation. After the bishop to f6, you could already guess which move comes next. Of course, bishop d3. The plan is queen h5 and bishop f4. After the previous lines, it seems logical to take first on b5. We play in the same way. After rook e8, there will be problems with pin on the e-file. In case of bishop f6, we play for an active endgame. There are a few games leading to this endgame, and it's a good sign that white won most of them. And finally, the more boring part of the opening. Black avoids excitement, and instead gives back the pawn to bring out the symmetrical structure. White has options here. I think it might be worth changing the structure for the sake of winning, even at the cost of a bishop pair. Our pawn structure is better, and the knight could also be well placed on e5. McShane stopped the knight on e5 with a capture against Dubov in a 2019 game. It's worth preventing the queen's h4, and g3 is better than h3 because we open a light square for our king. I know we couldn't avoid the drawish position in the end, but there could still be some chances here. We'll put the king on g2, then with the rook on c1, we want to play to c4, taking advantage of the dark pawn structure on the queen's side. You can find the full PGN material on chessguin.com. The link is in the description.